T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
You are now tapped into the coolest reptile podcast in the world. I'm your boy, MJ. What is good? If this is your first time tapping in, do your boy a favor. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell. Drop a like and then drop a comment. Let me know how you're liking these podcasts. Let me know what you like best out of each guest I bring onto the show. Love the feedback. But if this is your first time tapping in, also, if you're into reptiles, if you're just now getting into reptiles, you've been into reptiles, all the above, you're in the right place because I bring the top of the top, the fresh of the freshest, all the above when it comes to the sickest reptile keepers in the game to this channel. So that being said, I'm fresh back from Las Vegas Reptile Super Show. Had an amazing time with some sick-ass homies. Shout out to anyone who tapped in over at the Las Vegas Reptile Super Show this weekend. And if you're still there, man, I hope you guys are ending with a bang. I don't know. I mean, I had a really good time. I don't want to say it was the most packed show I've ever been at, but, you know, I ran into a shit ton of people and overall had a really good time. Wish I could have hung out Sunday. But, you know, as a lot of you guys know, I have a lot of animals. I got to get back to shit and can't just be putting everything on my wife all the time, even though she does a hell of a good job. But anyways, shout out to everyone who's coming back and, you know, spending their time with me. I appreciate you being a part of my life. It means a lot because I'm very passionate about what I do. So if you're looking to support this channel more than just a subscription or like, a couple different things you can do. You could drop a super chat if you have a big question that you want to get out there and you want to make sure I ask that question. We'll drop a super chat. If you're in the live chat, you'll see a little $sign. So drop any super chat. Doesn't matter how small or how big it is. Just go ahead and drop it. And I'll go ahead and put your question on the big screen. If you're looking for exclusive content, if you want to get more behind the scenes VIP type shit of what you see here on this podcast, and if you want to tap in with over 110 Trap Talk family members, then you're going to want to go down to the link below. Very first top link, click on the Trap Talk Patreon link and join the Patreon family. As soon as you join the Patreon family, you get a link to the Discord, which will tap you in with everybody that I have fucking with me. It's awesome. And I fuck with them. It's a continuously growing family that we have going on. We're all about our business. We all have fun, but we're all here trying to make moves. You know what I'm saying? So if you're looking to be a part of that, go ahead and go handle that, man. Come join the family, and I cannot wait to fuck with you. But I appreciate any support, man. Just you watching means a lot. Early Birds, what's good, Early Birds? I see you guys in the building. But I just want to say this episode is brought to you by Rami, Reptile Super Show. Just want to say thank you, buddy. Thanks for taking care of me. Thanks for, you know, allowing me to do the podcast live. Now, if you guys don't know, I had a live podcast in the middle of the show, cracking. Live. I love it. Fuck that pre-record shit. I do that shit live. You feel me? But if you want to catch that episode, Robin Markland, if you want to get updated on what Redline shipping is and why everybody's all of a sudden using Redline shipping, that's the move. Go to the episode. Make sure you check it out. Had a great conversation with Robin Markland. This guy's past is not to be missed. You got to understand what this guy's history is all about and why he's at where he's at. And I'm telling you right now, Redline shipping, amazing. But yeah, Rami, thank you so much. And then, of course, I want to say shout out and to the other sponsor, which Arlington, baby, who's excited. That's the next move. Damn, it is show season. I love it. So here we go. NARBC Arlington about to crack off. Thank you so much, Brian Potter, Bob Ashley, throwing the Super Bowl of reptile shows, bringing everybody together from all around the world. It's not a joke. I'm telling you right now. Get your ass to a show. Stop thinking you're too cool for a show. Unless you've been in this game for a long time, you just don't give a fuck. I understand that. Like, but I'm talking like any newcomers, man. If you're just new into this and you're like, well, I invested $100K in ball pythons. I don't need anybody. No, you do. Okay. So shut up. Fucking get your shit together. Go to a show. Be a people person. Even if you're not, do it. Kabelka did it. Handful of other people who are introverts are putting themselves out there. So you should do it too if you really want to be a part of this. But yes, great times. Cannot wait. Arlington, Drop a comment if you're going to Arlington. Let's link up. Big show lined up for Arlington. I hope you guys know that. I'm not going to spill the beans quite yet, but if you join the Patreon family, you'll know before anyone else. That's for damn sure. All exclusive. All right, who's here in the early birds, man? We're going to get a good show going here. But before I kind of talk about what's happening today, I want to see who's in the building. And Daniel, if you're in the background real quick in the green room, I hope your video, your video isn't turned on, okay? So just give you a quick heads up on that, player. But anyways, here we go. Runyon, Reptiles, one of the freshest, sickest Patreon members to join the family. What is good, player? Thank you for tapping in. I appreciate it. Go give him a follow on Instagram. Jake Hole, what is up, player? Trap Talk family member, Patreon member all day, every day. Thanks for tapping in. Just had his first clutch this year. What a guy. I'm happy for him. Wise guys, what is good? Forget about it. The homie Jeremy from Bod's Exotic Reptiles, killing it this year. Please go give him a follow on Instagram. Deviant Glass, Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. What is up, player? Thanks for tapping in. The homie Sean Perry in the building, shooting threes with his short tail projects. Gonna get this guy on the show real soon. Shout out to homie Sean Perry over at Sound Serpents. Give him a follow on Instagram. Jay Hendo, no pretendo. The homie, Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. Killing it in the rodent game. I got to get this bottle out of the way. It's fucking annoying me. Thank you so much for being here, Jay. Appreciate it. And appreciate you being a Patreon member. Hella. Look who it is. It's Matthew Summers. MSR, baby, in the building. Trap Talk Patreon member. Trap Talk Management. Trap Talk homie forever. It's my boy right here. We got history. That's my boy. Thank you for being here, Matthew. Appreciate it. The homie Joe. What is up, player Joe? Trap Talk Patreon member. One of the newest ones from New York, but living in Florida, right? I remember that. What's up, player? Thanks for tapping in. Julio Fulio, what's up, player? Julio Fulio is getting some trap heat this week. Thank you for your patience, Julio, but it's going down. I hope you're ready, buddy. Please go give him a follow on Instagram. And thank you so much for your support. Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. The homie Dylan in the building. D's nuts. Balls and Exotics. Dude, D, you've been killing it in the fish game, bro. I want to go fishing. Next time I roll up to the PNW, take me fishing, please. I miss fishing. By the way, I'm about to go in and get my fishing license and fucking just start fishing a lot because I miss it. Ever since I've been going to the beach, I just miss fishing. Anyways, go give him a follow. My boy Dylan, he's very player. PCF, Funny Royals, what is good? Thanks for tapping in. AJ Play Games. What is up? Thanks for tapping in. And then we have Slimeball Exotics. What is good? Thanks for tapping in. All right, here we go. Thank you so much for spending your Sunday here with me. We have a great episode lined up. I got to say, looking forward to this because I don't really bring guests on who are really strong opinion, but also strong like experience with conservation. Conservation is something a lot of people don't even think about until they have to have animals after a while. It's kind of like how I didn't know what the fuck U.S. ARC even meant. So after about a good year and a half, keep in mind, I wasn't trying to understand what it was, but once I started really tapping into things, I'm caring, and obviously I'm a big supporter of U.S. ARC, gold member in the building, and go be a U.S. ARC member, go support U.S. ARC, shout out to Phil Goss, but also conservation, because conservation is something talked about so lightly, people just have to just spit conservation out of their mouth. But what does conservation really mean? What the fuck? How do you know if you're really doing well by these animals in the wild, in your local area, all the above? But as you guys know, Florida is no joke. There's a lot of stuff going on in Florida. So we're going to tap in with my boy Daniel. Hope you guys are ready. We have an awesome episode. So I've been trying to get this guy on for at least a few months now, but fuck it. It's about to go down. So here we go, baby. Daniel Lopez, DCL. Let's go.
Good.
You ready for do more in the future? Trap Talk podcasters?
Yes.
Man.
Only Trap Talk. Exclusive.
Yes.
Exclusive. Oh.
So stop calling us.
Rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the crop, gotta love it or not. I'm hot from the hop to the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with everybody, we do it. Everybody, we do it. Do it. Do it.
And we are hella live. What is good? Daniel Lopez in the building.
What's going on?
How you living, man, out there in Florida?
It's hot and rainy.
It's Florida. That's it. It's always hot and rainy out there.
Florida all the time.
Well, man, listen, thanks for hanging out with me today. I appreciate it. I purposely made sure I made sure my ass was back in time for this episode from Vegas because as you know, I've been trying to pull your ass on this show, but you're a busy guy, so we finally found a Sunday that worked. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No. When you hit me up, I was like, oh, I have to do it this time. I can't put it off no more. I have to. Well,
Daniel, I listen. I respect what you do, just because who you work with. You know, you work side by side with somebody I look highly up to in this game. What a character, first and foremost, and then shout out to Cody and Pia. But before we kind of tap into what's currently going on with your life, what was it like really, because, dude, I got to say, Florida's nuts. Were you from Florida, born and raised? Like, that's your come up?
Key West, Florida.
Woo! So you're even down south. Okay, so that's where you're born and raised. And I'm curious, what was your upbringing like? I mean, just always out and about with animals, or was that later on in your life? I'm just curious.
So when I was younger, obviously there's not a whole lot of animals in the Keys. You have your basic iguanas and certain snakes, this and that. My real ever interaction with reptiles in the Keys was black racers. Black racers, I used to catch them all the time, and my grandma was really afraid of them. I used to catch them and show her, and she'd freak out, this and that. But I always loved snakes, and then as I got older, I was able to get my own snakes and reading about venomous, reading about tortoises, turtles, books at a young age was a real big thing to me because down south in the Keys, I didn't know any. There was one reptile shop. They had a little corner of reptiles. They had a couple ball pythons, a couple rat snakes. But as a kid, my main animal was a black racer. And
those snakes are fucking. They're not the most chill snake. I mean, those things are fucking moving. Like those.
They're fast. They're bitey.
It's a colubrid, right?
Yeah, colubrid.
Okay, cool, man. And so, as far as the animals you had before you could keep on your own, like your mom never let you keep anything, or what was that like?
I wasn't allowed technically to keep anything until I was 9 or 10 years old. My first ever reptile was a bearded dragon.
Nice.
And then,
very common first pet.
Yeah, it was a bearded dragon. And then the person who actually convinced my mom to let me have a snake was my cousin. My cousin had 2 ginormous ball pythons. He still has them to this day. I still can't believe how big they are.
Damn.
But he had them, and then he convinced my mom to let me have a snake, and that was around 11 years old. And I still have that ball python to this day.
Man, love the ball pythons. What a foundation for everything. I don't think a lot of, because it's not as much as like whoever is out there still trying to hate on ball pythons, like, bro, get over it. Like it's such a foundation of where we're at today with why so many people love it and whatnot. I mean, yeah, I understand I understand there's a more, I fully understand the whole side of like, we should kind of be looking into other things besides morph after morph. But at the same time, like you can't tell somebody how to be in this. Like not everyone's in this in the same level of things. Some people mature into other things, which we're going to talk about, like I did, because I didn't even know what the fuck a recessive or codon was. I was just buying animals. You know what I mean? My thing was, Daniel, was, I liked reading books like with pictures in it, but like, I was just such a brute head. I just never cared about actually reading. You know what I'm saying? And here I am at an age where reading is so powerful, bro. Like I fucking love reading now. Like I can't get over reading. You know what I'm saying? But to be able to understand of doing that at a young age, fuck, like, like the Stephen Cush used to read like a motherfucker, Andrew Acevedo, and then now so it explains to me why a lot of younger people I look up to in the game are heavy book readers from back in the day. You know what I'm saying?
Man, that I don't know. The thing is, there's not, if you go like on YouTube and if you go on even Google and stuff like that, if you're trying to, like, my obsession with Galapagos tortoises is from a book. I read about them the first time what made me want them was that was the first ever tortoise I ever read about.
Mm-hmm.
And when I read about it, I told myself, oh, one day I'm going to have one. I want to have one. And I finally have them. So is a huge accomplishment to me. But I feel like books give you more information, especially when it's written by the person who was out in the field, who was actually out doing the work to find the animals, to see where they're from, how they're living, what they're eating, this and that. The book is I feel like will tell you more information than what any YouTube video is going to tell you, what any Google search is going to tell you. A lot of these books are so jam packed, and like let's say if you're trying to figure out something, how finicky snake is living, and they're just not doing well for you. You're going by what a care sheet on Google says, this and that. But there's a book about that snake, and you're like, this book is completely different than what Google's telling me it is. So, yeah, I just feel like books are so jam-packed with information. It's a lot of words. It's a lot of reading. Most of the reptile books are pretty thick. It's a lot, but I feel like you gain so much knowledge through reptile, not even reptile books, just animal books in general. It could be a bird, it could be a reptile, it could be fish, it could be coral, it could be anything.
I mean, what's crazy is like it's especially huge if you really have something passionate about these animals. You know, a lot of people get animals and they grow on them. You know, a lot of people just kind of do things because either it's popular or like, you know, they give it a go. But then you have people who've just been obsessed over them from such a young age, you know.
Yep.
And yeah, you know, listen, I just feel like it all starts from somewhere. So it kind of makes sense why you're in the position you are in now. Because how old are you, Daniel?
I'm 25.
Okay, so you're fairly young. So, I mean, when did you cross paths with Cody and Pia? How did that happen?
That was 2019, early 2020, I want to say.
Okay.
How I met them was, so there's a reptile shop here, owned by a good friend of ours, Matthew Cruz. He owns Wild Things. Okay. And he has crocs, alligators, venomous, this and that. And in the state of Florida, you have to work under someone that has the animals, who has the permits, this and that. Right. And you got to have 1,000 hours per species. It's a lot of hard work. But he is getting to, I guess, to the age to where he doesn't really do that kind of stuff. He doesn't give hours anymore, anything like that. What he has is what he has. He doesn't really do anything. He doesn't really give hours like that. And he was like, have you ever met Cody and Pia? I was like, I have no clue who they are. And he reached out to them, and then I reached out to them, and it was history from there. I couldn't believe the collection that was literally 30 minutes away from me. I had no clue about RPI. I didn't know him like that. But I possibly would have found them later on, but without him, I don't think I would have got my foot in the door like I did.
Yeah, you know, because it's crazy you say that. It's you know, one thing I'm so passionate about this fucking reptile game is like it's all who you know. You know what I'm saying? Because it really doesn't matter. I mean, I'm sure at some point you could be doing something with a breeding project, but that can happen so quick, right? But what's more important is who you know and who you meet, who's fucking who's been doing it, and who can literally lay a fucking foundation for you to follow. And you know, nothing against my boy Forrest, rest in peace. I love him to death, but like I only met or knew of Cody because of Forrest. You know, Forrest told me so many stories, and this is why I respect Cody so much. But like I copied a lot of things Forrest did, and Forrest was not the perfect fucking, you know, as we all know, he didn't do a lot of things that Cody was too happy about. But you know, for me, I was like, oh shit, he has all those chondros in tubs. I was like, fuck, I could do that too. Like if, you know, I literally bought a rack from Home Depot, and I bought Target tubs, put holes in them, and I started going ape shit on imports, bro. Like literally because of Forrest and seeing how he had shit, ambient heating, how easy it was set up. I was like, you know, because at first I was like, I'm never going to get any chondros because I do want expensive caging, but dude, that's
Yeah.
expensive. I just now
It's
got
expensive, especially these days. Nothing's getting cheaper. Nothing.
you got to be in a good place, and that's why, like, as much as I had friends like Miguel, he's still my boy, but like he brand new Freedom Breeder racks, and I'm just like, oh my god, like, am I ever gonna be able to afford that shit? Like, and the thing is, it comes, bro. Like, if you hunker down and you don't, I always let it motivate me. Like, if you go back to my podcast 2.5 years ago, I just got Freedom Breeders rack this year. So you would just hear me talk about, I can't wait to get my Freedom Breeder rack. I can't wait to get my Freedom Breeder rack. And then sure enough, bro, I got Freedom Breeder racks. You know what I'm saying? So, and
the good thing about Freedom Breeder is, man, they'll last forever. I got a
fucking amazing
27 bin Freedom Breeder here that I bought from Matt from the Wild Things, and it's an old Freedom Breeder. I bought it for $400, but it's perfect. They last forever.
I mean, I want to say right now, like, there's multiple reasons why I'm proud, and I will say, shout out to the sponsor, Freedom Breeder. Shout out to the homie Jesse. I appreciate it. Number one stainless steel racks in the United States, probably the world. But I got to tell you right now, it's like, dude, to have a Freedom Breeder rack, I feel like that's like, obviously it's not saying you made it, but what a feeling that you're on the right way. You're on the right track, because when you have that especially when, dude, I start with home Depot racks, you know what I'm saying? Where snakes were getting out, and I had to, like, literally go through years of escapes to, like, find all the tricks to, like, oh, this is where they're getting out, blah, blah. Like, you know what I mean? And like, I made my life really difficult, but I couldn't afford a fucking $4,000 rack. You know what I'm saying? But I knew the shit I had in these goddamn Home Depot racks was going to get me all that. Like, I fucking was just like, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care what my shit looks like. I don't give a two shits, because at the end of the day, this is on my timeline. It's not nobody else's. But
yeah, it's like everyone thinks that you have to have the most immaculate caging and closures and stuff like that. It's like, just think of like a lot of zoos. There's a lot of zoos that are immaculate, but you go into the back area, it's a lot of racks. It's a lot of just odds and ends and closures, this and that.
Yeah.
It's, of course, everybody that has animals, they want to give them the best that they can. But
it's not easy.
If you only have racks, this and that, as long as the animal's doing well, it's not sick, it doesn't have mites, it doesn't have this, it eats and drinks. That's what that matters a lot. Not everyone can afford $10,000 in enclosures or $10,000 in racks.
Right. So I'm going to tell you right now, every animal that I have in these brand new Focus Cube habitats now, which I
love, by the way. I want some so bad.
So check it out. Every single one of those snakes were in tubs for about 3 to 4 years. So I knew after a while, especially after Forrest passing, I kind of like, because Forrest was like, when Forrest was my friend and he was around, I didn't care about talking about I only want to talk to was Forrest. Like, Forrest was my guy, bro. Like, we would just fucking talk. And I just love, we had the podcast together. So every day we were talking we're close together. But, it comes to realize that, like, Forrest would always mention how much shit Cody would give him when he would come over. And like, he would just not really go into detail, but then you look at Cody's stuff, right? And I need to fucking get my ass over there, bro. Like, I cannot wait. But when I started following Cody, especially before the Patreon, and he was doing all his stories, oh my God, iconic. I love Cody, bro. Like, his personality, it just brings shit out of me. It just makes me fucking just so happy to see it. But anyways, to see this fucking, his goddamn room, bro, how perfectly everything is, like, not only labeled and properly, like, venomous tags, but you have, like, security locks on everything. And oh man, it's just so evolving what's going on over there. And it makes me want to be a better keeper. Like, understand, like, my mission was to get these snakes out of tubs, but it wasn't going to happen overnight. But my next step is to, I want to get to the level Cody's at someday. You know what I'm saying? But God, like, Cody puts so much effort and thought after thought into what he does for so many years now. You know what I'm saying? And, just think of like racks and tubs, your Home Depot bins, this and that. Right. I'm gonna tell you where that really plays a role is quarantine. Quarantine. Yeah, I'm telling you right now. Yeah.
I know about 4 or 5 people. Their quarantine looks like they went to Home Depot and just bought a bunch of bins. And I'll tell you this: their animals are doing perfect because they're easy to observe. They're not giving this big immaculate enclosure. That's for when they're in the actual display. You do racks, you do bins, you do boxes, this and that to make sure the animal's healthy. It's doing good. It's eating. It's drinking. You're watching it for disease, this and that. If I go into a quarantine and I see like huge immaculate enclosures, I would be like, that's cool, but to me, it's not needed. Like I'm perfectly fine with a wall of just racks for your quarantine. That's perfectly fine.
Yeah, and like I said, I have people give me so much props on how beautiful my animals are, and I'm like, dude, I kept them so simple. That's why, like, I didn't toss them into a fucked up position. And as much as people want to mimic the wild and give them that life, dude, it just doesn't work like that. Like I'm not trying to, you know, I have a huge, you know, thing about bioactives and I'm not against them, but there's people who just go straight to that route. And it's like, yo, chill out. Like, and like, you know, I have, you know, and then some people don't like to hear it either, because think about it. Some people do. Dude, I remember there's things I set up for an animal and it took me all day to do it. And then someone told me, he's like, that's not what you should do. And I was like, I wanted to tell him to fuck off, but realized, dude, he's right. You need to stop. You need to break everything down and start over. A lot of people are just so stubborn. They don't want to do that. They're like, nah, I'm good. And I'm
especially
like,
when it's bioactive, man. Bioactive.
It's a lot of work.
There's bioactives at Cody's, and I'm just like, I want to do that one of these days, but man, that's a lot of work right there.
Right. And, you know, and think about, you know, Cody's somebody where he's continuously putting more work on his plate. Like, I feel like that's just the kind of guy he is.
That is true.
But if you look at what he does, it's because it's kind of a part of his personality. Like, he masters one thing, but then also there's more to be done. Like, Cody's somebody, I'm sure in his head, there's always more to be done. And when you're like that, things are just getting done. But you know, but it's just a passion, bro. Like, you really can't, you know, like, I don't know. There's other people I see do things like, I will say, Barchek, seeing Barchek in person, how he fucking handles his reptarium and treats the people walking it and how it's really being taken care of and how his energy doesn't go flat. I don't know how that I mean, he really must truly love to do what he does. I can't talk to people that much. Like, even at shows, after I talk to so many people, my head starts to spin. I'm like, all right, I need to like, I always do I'm pretty weak at shows. I can only do one day. Like, if there's like a two-day shows, I just like to do one day. I need a nap in between for sure.
Yeah, like the Daytona show. The Daytona show, man, that's a show and a half right there. You want to be there half a day and then like maybe hang out like alone and then maybe go back.
Yeah. So I mean, but I love it though too. You know, at the end of the day, it's like I also, you know, when you're high strong and excited like myself, like, dude, I get super hyped up, you know, and then eventually it's
I love meeting people. I love meeting.
I love it too.
The people who I've only ever talked to over the internet, and so it's nice to put a name to a face. It's like, oh man, like that's cool.
And then also not only that, like I want to elaborate on that a little bit because there's so many people that just don't do good with meeting people. And I understand how that could work. You know, I always was an outgoing person, you know, been in the music game, DJ'd. I like being center of the fucking tent. Put it on me. I don't give a fuck. But a lot of people, they don't like that shit, man. And it's hard for them to step forward. But no matter what, you have to do that in this game, don't you? Like, you can't just be Mr. fucking, well, I'm just going to sit back and post and, you know, like buy animals you see posted. Well, how about the inner fucking, you know, relationships you need to make other than purchasing animals? Like, you know, don't you want to know who the person is that you're buying the snake from, who you're supporting? Like, your dollar's so strong, right? And I will never get into specifics anymore because I'm past that. But there's people who are getting paid that should not be getting paid in this industry. They should be fucking out. But people will always, for whatever reason, want to get animals from them. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people should just care about who they buy snakes from. I always
buy who they buy from, because it's like here's the thing. It's like I mean, everybody's shy. I mean, everybody in this world is shy.
A little bit. They all got it.
But you got to have that strength to, if I know this person is working with an animal that I want, that I really want, I don't want to be like, hey man, like what do you do? No, I'm gonna go to him and be like, okay, what are you doing? I want these animals that you're producing. How are you keeping them alive? What are you doing? Especially when it's someone who's reproducing the animals to just keep that just keeps reproducing them. I care about what they're doing. I don't care about what Google tells me to do. I don't care about what a book tells me to do. When a person is reproducing a certain animal, I care about what they're doing. You gotta build up that strength to talk to that person.
I'm glad you brought that up because I'm sure all you guys over there at the Reptile Preservation Institute care about what venomous breeders are breeding, right? Because I mean, first off, I want to say, do you even like, how do we look? And when I say we, like you, Cody, your guys over there, how do you guys look at breeding venomous? Like, you know, should it be bred so easily privately? Should I mean, like, I'm curious how you guys look at it.
So when it comes to breeding venomous, especially at the RPI, anything that is bred there, it is either going to a venom lab or it's going to an AZA facility or ZAA facility. No, none of the animals, other than like I guess you could consider venom labs are sort of private sector, but none of the animals are going to a private sector. They're all going to a purpose, to either save lives for medical purposes or to be displayed at an awesome zoo. Now, if you want to talk about like a conservation type thing when it comes to breeding venomous, there's a lot of venomous that are readily imported because they don't produce well in captivity. The more we produce in captivity, the less they're going to be taken out of the wild. That is a big thing. That is a big thing to me, is to be able to produce, even if it's black mambas, green mambas, gaboon vipers, rhino vipers. If we can create a steady population in the United States to not have to keep ripping them out of the wild, ripping them out of farms over there, this and that, that is the best thing in my opinion. To be able to produce a steady population, and I see that you're working with Amazon basins, which I hope to do one day. But those animals can still be taken out of the wild. I hope to see a such a healthy population of Amazon basins to where you never have to see a wild caught one ever again. Like, that is a big thing of conservation to me, is to stop these wild caught animals in the collections, to leave them where they're at, leave them where they're supposed to be. Yeah. That is awesome. To like, is that a really nice animal? Yeah. Are you gonna pay a lot of money for a captive bred one? Yeah, you are. But at least this animal didn't have to get ripped out of the wild to be in your collection.
Yeah. And, you know, it's unfortunate, Daniel, because a lot of these places that are ripping the animals out of the wild, they depend on this, man. They make their money like this. And I know. And we're a huge fucking customers of theirs. You know what I'm saying? And, yep. And that's why there's certain importers that no matter how much you bash their name, no matter what you fucking do to them or bunker them, they will still have customers. They will always sell a snake. And that's why it's like, dude, I'm just, you know, you cut ties. You literally have to cut ties with shit like that and just not speak of it. You know, I got people who, you know, I have past guests that I brought on where I used to like kind of say I've got animals from them and they still come to me. Can I get animals from them? I just say, dude, if you like gambling, roll the dice, go ahead. If you're somebody into that, because I can't completely knock going, like, you know, God bless, man. Like I said, not everyone has the money to drop $1,500, $2K, $3K, and they really want the animal. Some people could.
No, and I 100% understand that. Like, there's a big. I'm big into machete snakes. I don't know, and they're a beautiful snake. I have yet to successfully keep them alive in captivity. I don't know anyone in the United States who keeps them alive. I know a couple people in Europe that keep them alive. But those machete snakes are brought in by the hundreds through South America. It would be awesome to be able to get that little $100 snake and reproduce nonstop in America to where that doesn't have to happen. I understand that is importing ever going to stop? No. Importing is never going to stop it's never going to stop.
I mean, Legally, possibly, but illegally will never stop. Like no matter if the fucking president shuts it all down, it's like it's going to become like meth or cocaine. We'll figure it out. It's going to come.
That's true.
You know what I mean? It don't matter. It's just you're going to create more mess for yourself, you know. But I mean, that's just how it is. But anyways, continue. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it'd be so nice to know that the animal that you didn't have. Now, maybe the parents were brought out of the wild, this and that, through years ago or whatever it was. But it's nice to know that, like Cody, for instance, I'm pretty sure all of his black mambas, all of his adults black mambas are all from the wild, all from imported out of Africa. But he has produced multiple times from them. So the people, the Venom Labs, the zoos that are getting animals through Cody, they didn't have to get an import for black mamas to be ripped out of the wild, this and that. They're bred in America. Those black mamas can stay in their native range. That is what I feel like is awesome. Now, of course, there's a lot of species out there that are critically endangered because of deforestation and people eating them and killing them. A lot of turtle species, tortoise species, but it'd be cool to create like a U.S. captive bred population of a lot of animals that are being imported to stop that importation.
Now, I mean, let's kind of lead this into the topic of what conservation really means, especially over to RPI over there. Like, what's the meaning of conservation when that word's being said?
So conservation to me, it's a little bit. I say it's a little bit different than what most people consider it as. Conservation to me is conserving and preserving everything. Not just because it's endangered, not just because it's threatened or vulnerable or this and that. There's a conservation status for everything. I don't care how common it is. I don't care how prolific it is in trade, this and that. It's not always conservation isn't always breeding the animal. It's so there's a lot of places like in Africa. There's a facility for African slender snouted crocodiles. They're not the most up to date. Their facility isn't the most up to date. A big part of conservation is you might not keep animals. You might not do anything with animals, but you care about animals. You care about the well-being of animals.
Right.
So let's say you're pretty well off to write a check. You write a check over to the African slender snout facility, so they can buy tubs, so they can raise babies up, so they can have food, they can keep their lights on, this and that. That is a big thing of conservation. It's not, like I said, it's not always about the most endangered, the most threatened, this and that. I think conservation is for everything, to coral, to fish, to reptiles, to birds, to obviously land, because we all know construction is never ending. No matter where you're at, construction is nonstop ending, and
yeah.
And that's a especially in Florida. Florida's gonna sink. Florida's sinking one of these days.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, bro. We're on the outside looking at your guys' state. I mean, and we're not feeling too good about it, man. It's rough. It's literally just a matter of when, and that's a scary thing because I love Florida. It's so beautiful, you know. It's fucked up. There's some fucking crazy people. I gotta say, I've never been through all like North Florida, so which I will. But the places I've been visiting Florida, God bless, man. It's like I don't know how anyone lives down there, bro. It's nuts.
South Florida is South Florida is north of North Cuba. It is a wild place.
Dog. I mean, you could expect to see anything and everything down there. That's all I got to say.
Oh my God! If it's not some crackhead trying to eat your face off, then it's a police chase, or it's just someone doing something crazy.
Now, I want to kind of tap in a little bit about as far as people wanting to claim conservation on YouTube, you know, for whatever reason, but really backing it up. I'm just feeling like, what are some ways people could really back up showing that they're really for conservation? Like, what are some good, I don't know, because I just feel like, you know, it's so easy to say you do conservation, but how are you really doing conservation? Like, what are you really doing to show that you go ahead?
So it goes back to, let's say, I'm telling you, conservation is big as picking up a piece of trash on the ground.
Right.
You see a piece of trash on the ground, you pick it up. That is a way of conservation to me. You see those the things that six pack cans come in, the little plastic pieces.
Yeah, little plastic. Yeah,
you see that, you pick that up, you throw it away, because that thing right there is a killer to animals. You any trash you pick up, throw it away. That is a form of conservation. And for the people that are a little bit more well off, if you don't necessarily want to be in the field to do this and that for conservation, and if you have the money, you can write off checks to places in Guatemala, places in South America, places in Africa, Australia, this and that, because our money is way more than theirs. I would love to be able to write a check to, which hopefully maybe next year, I will be able to start writing checks to these places to be able to keep their lights on, be able to get enclosures, food, just things that they need. When I hear people talking about doing conservation, it's like, okay, what do you do? And they talk about, we video through like, we do conservation through videoing. I don't really think that that's conservation. Yeah, you might be talking about an endangered animal, but what are you doing? Like, what are you doing for that animal? You're not doing anything. A big thing, I don't know if Cody wants me to talk about it, but I'm going to talk about it. Sorry, Cody.
Sorry, Cody.
So
on that note, I'm going to smoke.
Oh, you're good. So a big thing that they're going to be doing is called conserving the common. And what conserving the common is, so we're going to have runs. We're going to have runs of like concrete runs, like 10 foot by, let's say, 20 foot. They're going to have eastern diamondbacks in it, copperheads, water moccasins,
right,
pygmy rattlesnakes. So the reason why they want to do that is these zoos that are getting these animals, these venom labs that are getting these animals, they cannot get a clean animal. They cannot get a clean animal. They all have some type of disease. So to be able to reproduce these animals, to have clean, primo animals to provide to these zoos, to venom labs, clean, no disease, no nothing, that is a form of conservation. So these animals don't have to be ripped out of the wild to replenish a venom lab or replenish a zoo stock or this and that. The conserving the common thing is one thing that I am really, 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 like, I want to back up 100%, because here in Florida, you can catch anything except for like eastern indigos and stuff. You see a eastern diamondback, you can catch it, you can snatch it up out the wild. You see a canebrake, you can snatch it up out the wild. But what if you don't have to? There's such a sustainable population in captivity that you don't have to. You can leave that animal where it's at.
So would you say it's almost a good thing? Because, I mean, you got to admit, there are people out there who don't care to put their venomous stuff on any kind of social media platform because just how much they don't care for that attention. So do you think the ones who are doing it that way that's good, even though here's the thing, like, I appreciate that they that's how they look at their venomous collection. Like, they don't need to expose it or show what they're doing, but they're still breeding them. So what are you doing with these? I mean, do you have zoo connections like you guys have and all this other shit? Like, and as much as I feel like it's cool that the right person keeps venomous, but eventually someone that's not keeping it the right way is going to get their hands on them, like eventually, because bro, things get passed down, life happens, and I don't give a fuck who your homies are, how tight you think you guys are. Dude, something, anything can happen where that snake ends up to the wrong wannabe. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, oh shit. So that's why I stand with it. It's like, it's such a double-edged sword because, you know, like I just had Alexander England on, you know, and he reminded me a lot of Kyle Vargas. And dude, these guys aren't like, you know, they share their animals, but do you ever see them holding them? Do you ever see them fucking doing anything to the extreme? No, they would never do anything like that.
So, that topic, by the way, how dare you have me on after England? England, well, that was a good show, by the way.
Shout to Alex.
But you guys touched on that topic last Sunday about posting about your animals. I don't care if it's a ball python to a black mamba.
Right.
And I'm 100% for what he says. It's all about the animals.
100%.
It's all about the animals.
It's
these people and you know the RPI stance is anti-free handling, this and that. There's no point pissing off a snake just for a photo.
Right.
There's no point on grabbing that snake behind the head to show the venom yield. Because what are you going to do with the venom? You're not doing anything but washing it down the sink. You stressed out that animal for no reason, for clicks and views and likes. There's no point on that. You're not a venom lab. You didn't use it for no sole purpose.
Right.
When you have when you have your animals, you're doing videos. You're doing your videos. That is perfectly fine. That is great what you're doing. You're not having these animals like crawling through your face and you're in it, this and that. When it's solely about the animals, you take pictures of the animals. Like that's you're not in it to make you cool. You're not in it to get a check mark of badassness. No, you it's the animals. You should be in it for the animals themselves.
I'm just glad I'm never like, I mean, bro, I love respect, but not from anyone. Like, I don't give a fuck if like, I don't care if everyone likes me. I care if certain individuals fuck with me. You know what I'm saying? And I really wish other people that are really looked up to did the same thing. But when you're at that level, you'll fuck with anybody and anything that will make you grow. And that what pisses me the fuck off. Like my own boys, the people I love and talk highly about on this show do things that fucking make me just grind my teeth, okay? And I will easily say that. But at the end of the day, they're in a caliber where they have to like everybody. They have to be, and I'm not. I'm in a position where I'll always probably be in this level because I will say it how it is. If I don't like you, fuck you. I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? And if you have really bad practices, if you're somebody who's a terrible example for this industry, I won't bring you on this platform unless I'm going to shit on you. And that's it. And that's just how it's going to be. And
it's like if you see any like pictures like me, I have pictures with a couple crocodiles, a couple alligators, feeding them, making them do the thing, and certain venomous and stuff like that. But every single thing that if I'm in the picture, I'm making sure 100% it's 100% professional as possible. So I don't care if I'm in the picture. I don't care if I'm in the video. I just don't care. But if I'm in it, I'm making sure that it's professional as possible. It doesn't put a bad image on the reptile community, this and that. If you now if you want to be in the picture, like in the videos or picture, that's not necessarily a bad thing. If you're just, let's say you have you're like a beautiful some snake, a beautiful Amazon tree boa or something, and you have it in your hand like this, and you just you're taking a picture of it. But
Yo, oh my God, you there?
What happened?
My power went off, bro. I just had to flip my generator on right now. Our whole block just lost power.
Oh
Like,
God, I was like,
yeah.
oh no, did I do something?
That's the first time that's happened. Like where I've gotten off live. I've gone kicked off because my computer had issues, but literally the whole power went off. And bro, that's why you stay ready with the generator. You feel me? Damn. I don't know. We'll find out. I hope my generator's on point right now. We'll fucking find out. But we've had some unplanned outages lately in my neighborhood because how hot it's been. So like literally certain blocks just go off just like that. And I don't know. So hopefully we have I'm going to wrap it up here pretty soon, but fuck, dude, I'm glad we're back. We're going to finish this up, man. But can you please finish what you were saying, please, before that shit happened?
Oh no, I was just saying like when you guys were talking about like it's all about the animals, this and that. It's like if you want to do pictures with whatever snake you have, just like a simple like smiling picture, and that's fine. But if you got some snake and you're just doing it just to piss it off, just to get the most badass picture that you think it is, and just to piss off the snake, this and that, it's like I don't think you're about the animals if you do that. I really do. I really don't think you're about the animals. If you're taking it to, oh, let's grab this snake behind the head, let's make it bite a piece of flesh just to see what it does, how it destroys flesh, this and that. I'll tell you this. It's a venomous snake. We know what it does. Even if you don't know what a venomous snake is, you know it can kill you. You know that it's dangerous. We don't need to see you grab a snake behind the head for it to bite a rat, a pork chop, whatever it is, a couple weeks down the road to watch the meat just rot away. That's stressful to the animal. No real venomous keeper cares about that. That's just for likes, comments, and views.
Yeah. And honestly, it's hard to justify it. Like as much as like, I don't know, like, okay, you did that, but you can't say you did it other than the views and the fucking the monetization money. Like it's just money. And I feel like, well, then that's not all about the animal for you. Like that's not, you're kind of like being, I don't know. It's so tough, man, because
the only one I will say that, and I'll come out and say it. I'm not the biggest fan of the guy, that Coyote Peterson guy.
I don't know who that is.
He's a wild guy. I'm not the biggest fan of him, but the one that I would say the only thing that was kind of all right was he was at Reptile Discovery, Carl Barden's place, and they did a couple different species on what it does to blood. I thought that was like, okay, I knew what it did to blood, but I didn't know what it did 100% to blood. They did certain venoms to blood and this and that, and I was like, okay, I saw it once. I don't need to see it again. No one else in this world needs to do it. They did it once. I'm fine with seeing that. But these people that are multiple times doing what it does to rats, what it does to flesh, what it does to this and that, grabbing it, having it, pissing it off, this and that, it's like, what is the point? There's no point on it. It's different if you're taking a picture of the snake in like in the enclosure to like get a really good picture, or if you're doing a real good photo shoot. But if you have it in your hand just to piss it off, it's like, come on, man.
So I'm gonna say right now, shout out to my boy Andrew Acevedo. You know who Andrew is? Super Dwarf Breeder.
Okay, yeah.
So good friend. Like honestly, like he's. I always say this, right? If you guys get tired of hearing it, but he's the one who introduced me to Forrest. Like he's the one that put me on game with Forrest, and that's when my whole life changed. But goddamn, this guy will always keep it real. Like he's a friend that would always tell me, like when I had a emerald first regurg, he would tell me, just it's done. You're done. Like it's not ever coming back. And I'm like, fuck you. Like I remember he told me to kill it, and like he told me to like call it and put it in the freezer. And I was like, how dare you? I was so upset. I took it so personal. And then sure enough, like 4 regurges later, I'm like, okay. So like he was always like, he's always right. And that's what I like. He's just one of those friends where like he's gonna tell you what you don't want to hear, but he's probably coming from a place with experience. You just be ready. And that's Andrew, right? And so what I'm trying to get to is just recently, and I'm glad he said this, not that I have, Steve Irwin's one of my heroes, bro. I'm a big Steve Irwin fan, man. But
I wanted to touch on that too.
Yeah,
I wanted to touch on that.
I mean, he brought up, he's like, dude, does anyone really? I mean, I was like, I don't know why no one says this enough, but Steve Irwin was a fucking idiot on TV a lot. Like if he did the shit he did to this day, he would not be loved upon, but he was a part of an era that was just like, nobody knew what was right or wrong. Like, it was like, oh my God, look at this guy. Like, it was like, holy shit. But like, bro, maybe Steve would probably be in a different place if we had all this going on right now. Maybe he even, I don't know, like one of those outback wild guys are so naturally just what they are. But you have people that are trying to mimic that here in the States. And that's what's like, yo, like you are not that Australian outback. Like even with your fake mullet, you're not the homie Ricky. The homie Ricky's sick as fuck, by the way. But I'm just saying, like, you're not, like, stop trying to mimic Australians in America when that's not that's not what we do. Like, chill out.
Ricky Mack from the Outback.
Ricky Mack. I love Ricky Mack. By the way, Ricky Mack's coming to the show soon. But that's somebody.
Yeah, he got bit by a coastal. He almost died by a coastal.
Was that recent?
I think within the year. Within the year, he got bit by a coastal. He lost his vision. He passed out in the car. I mean, he was on death's door.
Right. Damn.
But like Steve Irwin, like since we're on the subject of Steve Irwin, it's like he did a lot of there's AZA professionals like high up in the AZA field that hate him.
Right.
Which, okay.
Sure.
I can see that. I don't look, whenever I think of Steve Irwin, and I say this to everybody. I don't look at the zoo that he built. I don't look at the animals that he has found, that he has handled. I don't look at the crocodiles that he has wrestled and like captured and some of that. I don't care about that. On his short amount of time on the earth, here on Earth, what amazes me the most was he was able to buy 35,000 acres of land. It's the Irwin Preserve. Right. That's what I care about. That's what I think is like multiple upon multiple ecosystems on that one piece of land. That is what excites me the most about him. I hope to one day to be able to do that. Will I be ever able to do it? Everything's getting expensive, so probably not. But
one of the shittiest thing of the stick on all this with Steve Irwin is how much what you just said you love the most about that legacy is gone because of the people who didn't give a fuck when he died. And I don't want to get too much into it, but the ones that are there on the front now, not as kids, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's terrible. Like they got cut off from Steve's dad. They didn't fucking nothing to do with, and Steve's dad was the one with the right fucking ideas. The ones that
he was the real
Steve Irwin.
Wildlife person.
Right. Yeah.
Steve Irwin learned from his dad.
Right.
And exactly. Steve Irwin's dad didn't care about fame. He didn't care about social media. What around his day there wasn't social media anyways. He didn't care about that. He cared about the animals and the land that needs to be preserved.
Yeah.
That's all he cared about.
And it's I don't know, man. That's what it gets dark. Shit just gets dark. Like, a lot of people that you look up to and that are your heroes, as you dig through the shit, you just see how fucked up things can be. And it's just because how fucked up and greedy people are. You know what I'm saying? All because, you're talking about Steve Irwin's dad, who's just not probably a greedy person at all. Like, God bless his heart. And then, of course, when his son dies, everything gets fucking just ripped away from him. Like you're taking something from such a nice guy. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I'm not nobody to speak on too much details on the fact, but you hear these stories from people who are in and they know this, and it's like, wow, I didn't know all that. But like, the truth is undisputed, man, and the truth always hurts. And it really broke my heart to hear like that's how it went down for Steve Irwin and his dad. Like, fuck, like it's just I'm telling you right now, I would love to see how this reptile world would be with him still alive. Oh man,
like, how would it be? Like, I would really like to know how it would be. And like I said, I understand that he gets a lot of hate, but man, there's just the land that he bought is what's like. Okay,
that's what did.
I fought everything. He's done a lot of stupid stuff, but man, the land that he bought, nobody can build on it. Nobody can touch it. Nobody can do anything to it. That 35,000 acres is there for the rest of its life. That's what I think is so awesome.
Yeah, and I even think of people that I've met that have places down in had places down like in Costa Rica and doing places down there. Like, you want to talk about really doing something for the animals for a type of love and just dipping the fuck out of here. And I will say, respect, I know a couple people who their mission is to not have to have a collection anymore and just go to the fucking wild. Andrew's one of them. He's dying to live in the mountains of Peru. Like, he's not joking. I feel like I think before 30, he's going to probably do it. But I'm like, man, like, and Daniel Solis. I had Daniel Solis on the on the show, and he started Jungle Diaries, and like hearing his stories of real-time information, like shit that's happening right there, right where he's at, and it's documented. That shit makes the hair stand on my skins because fuck Google. Like, who really knows where we're getting this information from? Even books, bro. You got to understand, not everyone has legit information in books. Like, I've had people who shitted on other, like, hey, not this book. And that's true too. So you also just can't go ape shit on just reading book after book because there's some information that's just trash. You know what I'm saying? But with that being said, you can't get much more passion or more fucking hardcore than getting your ass in the wild and seeing that.
I'll tell you this.
That's the next level.
And I've said it multiple times. If I ever get well off in life to where I can buy land, I will. Right. Because I'm telling you right now, I wouldn't keep a single snake. I would keep turtles and tortoises because they're my Zen animal. That I call them my Zen animal. Right. I'd keep turtles and tortoises, and I would have the alligator marsh to be able to.
Okay, that's a lot, bro. Hold on.
Well, the alligator marsh to be able to save nuisance alligators,
that would
so
be
they don't
sick,
have to catch a 45 in their head through alligator trappers. That is another thing that RPI is doing. It's not necessarily a conservation thing, but it's a preservation thing. Right. All the adult alligators there are all from alligator trappers. Right. And they all their lives were spared. They didn't have to have a 45 in their head. They live out all in natural ponds and they're living their best life. Oh, that's beautiful. But I would sell everything just to be able to buy land. I mean, that'd be awesome. Not even like land for me to own. Like, if there's a facility out in Guatemala that does stuff for Abronia, give them a metric shit ton of money to buy land. Right. Like, I'd be 100% fine with doing that. Buying land to preserve these animals would. Now, I'm telling you right now, I'd get rid of everything to be able to just do that.
No, I'm curious, man. We didn't really get to talk much about it, and I just want to know, when you go home, what is at your actual house? What reptiles do you actually personally keep?
So I keep tortoises, turtles. I don't know all the species. I know I have 53 turtles. I keep Galapagos tortoises, radiated tortoises, redfoots, sulcatas, and a lot of colubrids. I have a couple carpet pythons. I have a pair of olive pythons. A lot of different bull snakes, pine snakes, yellowtail crebos, Batias mucosa, the oriental rat snakes.
Bitchin'.
Just like a lot of colubrids. I'm a huge colubrid guy. I love boas and pythons, but the boas that I like are very few are breeding them. Right. And they're very expensive, the ones that I like. And pythons, me personally, I don't think I'm set up for pythons. I have the setups for the carpet pythons and the setups for the olive pythons. But everything that I really have, to me, is set up for like colubrids. I don't think I'm.
So things are cooler in your room.
What do you mean?
Well, because colubrids, for the most part, are kept cooler. No, I mean, from what
yeah. It's not. I have an AC unit in here. I'd say it's like maybe 80, like cool. 80 around, and then the Morelia, the
carpets.
carpets, they have their own little heat panel, and the olives have their own heat panel and stuff like that.
Okay. So I have a wrap-up question here, and I'm curious because a lot of people must not know what you went through or even how you got into the position that Cody has you in. Okay. And what I mean by that, what was training like? What kind of training programs did Cody put you through? How many hours? All that stuff.
Oh
I want to know,
God.
man.
All right.
Let's talk about it.
So when you, and this is for anybody, when you first started RPI, oh no. Oh, when you first start at, I was like, oh no.
You said, oh no. You said, oh no.
I thought you left again.
No, I'm here. I'm showing your pictures. I'm showing your Instagram.
So when you first started RPI, you will see snakes. You will see other people do snakes, but it's a lot of like rat barn work. A lot of the first
Right.
like
The
few
grunt.
weeks.
Right.
To really, it's not only to see what's going on, but also to feel the person out, to see if this person is suitable for your place.
Right.
To see the guy's views on things and see what he wants to do with these animals. But after you do rat barn stuff, after you do some construction stuff, you get to start doing animal stuff. And I'm going to steal this through Cody. Cody's saying is C1. What is this thing? It's like C1 do one. So after you see someone do, let's say like a Philippine cobra. The Philippine cobra there is insane. You're not going to just throw someone into that animal. You're going to see someone do it multiple times.
Right.
And then after that multiple times, you're going to put the animal back. You're going to put the animal back a couple times. And then after the person feels comfortable, after Cody feels comfortable, the person who has trained him to feel comfortable, you're going to do it yourself. I tell Cody all the time, I'm like, there's not a lot of animals here that are like beginner animals. Now there's a couple beginner animals, but there's not a lot of beginner animals.
Right.
So there's a lot of just observing and watching. There's so much observing and watching before you ever touch a snake. And Cody's talked about it too, and I've even talked about it. I'm like, man, am I ever going to be able to mess with a snake? Am I ever going to be able to do anything with these snakes? It's just a simple fact of you're not dealing with a corn snake. You're not dealing with a big rat snake. You're dealing with a snake that can put you in a coffin faster than you will get to the hospital.
Yep.
So it's a lot of garbage work in the beginning, but the reward for that is way bigger. I mean, Cody will be out doing something else. I'll be wrangling mambas and cobras and vipers and rattlesnakes and all that kind of stuff. We just have to build the confidence to know that you can do these things. You might, and like I said in the beginning, you might be like, man, am I ever going to be able to hold it and hold? Am I ever going to be able to mess with any of these snakes? Are they ever going to let me do anything? Once you see these things, because you might go, let's say you have a Philippine cobra here that is easygoing. That is so easygoing. Then you get to the next Philippine cobra, it is batshit crazy. You got to know how to handle that. You got to know what to do in that type of situation, especially when it comes to mambas. He has the adult black mambas that are pretty easygoing. Then you got the kids. The kids are buck wild. They are buck wild. You have the Jameson's mamba that are on the display.
Right.
They got a little bit of craziness to them, but then he has 3 Jamesons in the Venom suite in the other room. You want to talk about a mamba? You want to talk about a crazy mamba?
And how
You got
fast
to know
they
how
are,
to handle
bro.
them from the nicest to their most insane. There's so much
yeah.
work. There's so much, and really, it's trust. We have got to trust you that you feel confident enough, because we're not going to say nothing bad. We're not going to say nothing bad if you tell us that you're not confident in doing this. It's like, okay, that's a brave thing that you said, because most guys, the male gene.
I got it. I got it.
I got it. We don't want that. We don't want that to, oh, we're scared, this and that. If you're scared to handle a 10-foot, 11-foot black mamba, say it. We're not going to say nothing. It's a dangerous snake. You gotta come out of it.
I got no problem saying I'm good. If someone's holding something and I have that feeling in me, I don't know, I don't do it. I don't give a fuck. I got no point to prove. And I've been bit by some shit. Let's just say that. And I'm good. It's just, and it's okay. Like, you'd say, like, you're better off speaking up. Like, you should say, like, because maybe they could guide you and tell you what to do. Obviously, that's what they did for you, like, you got to speak up and stop trying to be the man, especially if you're in a position like that, because there's no turning back from certain things,
Yeah, I mean, and it's like, think of like a green tree python. Most of them got some attitudes. Right. And if there's like a person holding one, it's like, I could hold it, but I don't really want to. Like,
right.
I know what these snakes can do. I know they got some big teeth. I know they can rip your skin apart. It might not be biting you, but I'm all right. Like, I'm cool.
Right.
But just that's how the male thing is like, oh, I got this. You don't have to cowboy up. And you know what? Especially when it comes to crocs and alligators.
Right.
There's no reason to cowboy up. If you don't feel comfortable going in an enclosure with a 12-foot alligator, a 10-foot alligator that's chasing you, and I mean chasing you around the enclosure, you got to feel confident to do that you're going to stop that alligator.
Yeah.
There's no reason to cowboy up. Once you've seen it done multiple times and you know what you're doing and you feel confident, come on in. We'll protect you. We'll show you what to do. But if you're like, I guess I'll do it. It's like, should you really? If you're saying that,
end up in a wheelchair and a mullet. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man.
Hey, listen, this has been an awesome episode, Daniel. I've got to say this will be multiple rounds to come as far as having you back on. So I got to say thank you for your knowledge. Thank you for spending the time with me and the trappers out there. I have hot seat questions for you, though, before I let you go, okay? So hot seat question. You cool with these hot seat questions?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. So hot seat questions for the homie Daniel Lopez. It's DCL Exotics, right? I just want to make sure I say that right.
Yeah.
All right, cool. DCL Exotics. Coming in hot. Here we go. You ready, Daniel?
Yep.
Frozen thought or live?
Depends on the situation.
No. It's either one or other. If it came down to it and you had to pick, frozen thought or live?
Frozen thought.
A cut or no cut? Meaning, would you ever cut an egg, or would you cut an egg?
I've done more. I've seen more no cut, so I'm going to choose no cut.
Okay. Red chondro neo or yellow chondro neo?
I'm a red guy, so red.
Pre-first shed meal or post-first shed meal?
Post.
Yay imports, boo imports. If it came down to it, you had to say yes or no, like the laws on Daniel, what would you say?
I'm going to say no, but the industry was found on importing, so it's hard. If I had to choose no, I might say no.
All right, there you go. Sports or no sports?
No, I got better things to do.
Respect. To spray or mist a reptile, snakes, whatever, or to not spray or mist a reptile?
Oh, spray and mist. Yeah.
Big flexor or no flexor?
I'm a nobody, so no flexor.
Oh, you're a big flexing on your Instagram, dog. Get out of here. Steak or fish?
Fish.
Dr. Dre or Snoop Dogg?
So,
5 seconds.
Dr. Dre, because Dr. Dre made everybody.
Respect. West Coast rap or East Coast rap?
West Coast.
Little word association. Say whatever first comes to mind. You ready?
All right.
Milk.
Cookies.
Substrate.
Mulch.
FedEx shipping.
Sucks.
Stuck shed.
Damn.
First time ball python breeder.
Got to start somewhere.
YouTube venomous handler.
They all suck.
Instagram trolls.
They all suck too.
Okay, how about this? If you had to get rid of one platform forever, and I mean forever, is it going to be TikTok or Instagram? Which one has to go?
TikTok or Instagram? Oh, TikTok. Bye.
You know why? Because I don't want to. I'm afraid you would have said Facebook for some reason. I don't know why I didn't want to put.
Yeah, I'll tell you. You know, I kind of like Facebook over Instagram.
I see. I knew it. I fucking had something in my. I was like, he's gonna say Facebook. I
kind of like Facebook over all the other ones. I don't know why. I just do.
That's kind of like if I ever sense someone's gonna say Sammy Hagar over fucking Van Halen, I won't say. I won't even go there. You know what I'm saying? But listen, bro, thank you so much for the knowledge, for the information. I also want to give props to Cody for grooming you, man, and props to you for getting yourself in that position. I mean, if I lived in Florida and if I could get groomed by anybody, fuck, it would be Cody Bartolini for sure, bro. Like, and Pia. They're the ones doing it right, and it's so hard to say that you're doing it right in this game and really, really back it up. And those two are. So props
if it wasn't for them, I might have not met the people that I know today. And I'm extremely grateful for that. I might not ever be respected by the people that I am respected by because of them. I just think that is a huge accomplishment. To be respected by the people that respect them I will take over any day than being respected by the normal Joe Blow.
All right, my man. Well, listen, I'll be tapping in soon. I do have plans on flying over to your guys' neck of the woods, and I need to get that round 2 in with Cody. You know what I mean? I got to clear 6 hours of my schedule because when he gets going,
that's true.
It's true. Over. But man, talk about info. But listen, man, thank you so much for this. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. But it's a wrap for DCL Exotics, ladies and gentlemen. All right, bro. Have a good night. Thank you so much, Daniel.
All right, you too.
Peace out, bro. Woo! What a good time. Thank you so much. If you happen to come in late to the episode, don't forget to hit that like button, especially if you liked it. It only makes sense, right? I got to say, this was action-packed, good information. So, yeah, drop a comment. Let me know what you liked best out of this episode. I just want to say, big week ahead of us. We have some big things popping for this week's agenda for Trap Talk. Hope you guys are ready because tomorrow I have someone coming to the platform who's not really a new breeder on the block, but shit, if it comes to getting clout on Instagram and stuff, he's in that realm and he's up and coming. So why not bring him to the New Breeder on the Block series? And it's going to be my boy, Lenny from Demonic Reptiles. My man's making world first clown combos. We're going to talk about it. We're going to tap in. If you want to tap in, make sure you go down to the link, set your reminder, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time going down. Coolest Reptile Podcast in the world. I got to say, my Patreon members, no, if you guys didn't catch my comment on the post, no Zoom session, unfortunately. We're going to push that to next Sunday because I'm going to the Lion King. My wife got me no, actually, I got her tickets. Never mind, take that back. I got to go to Lion King. Completely forgot. So I got to wrap this up and see what the fuck's wrong with my energy, too. I hope everything's good with my power. But thank you so much for your support. I appreciate it. My Patreon members, you guys are my heart. I love you guys. But Monday, New Breeder on the Block. Oh my, I forgot to tell you what's going on Thursday. Hold on. I'm so sorry. Chill. Thursday night, after we have Lenny on New Breeder on the Block series, guess what? We're finally getting round 2 one-on-one. Not nobody else, just one-on-one. We're tapping in my boy, Steven Cush, one of my best friends in the fucking game. Going down. What the fuck does the future hold for a guy like Steven Cush? Steven Cush is a mystery, man. Like, he doesn't, he puts himself out there, but he doesn't talk a lot. What is Steven up to? What does Steven have planned? How does he feel overall about his plans in the reptile industry? It's all going to be discussed Thursday night. I'm really excited because I have some questions for my boy Steven. And as a lot of you guys know, I feel like Steven's going to be a huge, if not already a huge key player as far as being one of the leaders in this industry. So, and if you're like, what, how? Well, then tap in and we'll talk about it. But Thursday night going down, don't forget, again, Daniel Lopez, DCL Exotics, chopping down some heavy reptile conservation talk. Had a great time. Enjoy the rest of your night. I got to go see the Lion King. Presented by